Good evening. Thank you for coming and watching this video. Thank you for taking the time to join me this evening. Hopefully this will be fun and entertaining and helpful. I have no idea how this is going to go. This is the first time of doing something live, but I am live. I'm live here in my home studio space, and I'm going to do a few things this evening. We're going to go through a few bits and bobs, and I'm going to kick things off in a little while with a studio tour, which is something I haven't yet done. So I'll show you around, show you the space, show you one or two bits and pieces. So studio tour time. Let's have a look at this. So I have got a number of cameras set up today. So here is a nice big wide shot so we can see something of what we've got in this space, and I'm going to just try and take you through a number of areas of this room and show you kind of what it is, how it works, what it's going to do. So this shot just behind me, I'm trying to work out where I need to look here. I've got a million screens in front of me. So this shot that you can see right now is looking down the kind of the main filming space of this video. So the shot that you saw there at the beginning, this shot here, is probably a shot that most of you are fairly familiar with. If you've been to this channel before, this is my kind of main normal shot that I use quite often. I call this my teaching desk. Basically, this is where I kind of come and do any teaching that I'm going to do, anything to YouTube, any kind of video, anything like that. I do Zoom teaching and all that kind of stuff from here. And this is probably what makes up 80–90% of the videos that I shoot, really. So you're probably all fairly familiar with this. Behind me over there, you'll see there is another computer, and that computer is actually my main work computer. That is where I do all my main work, and that desk over there is the desk that I use kind of Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, emails, video editing, all that kind of stuff I do over there. This desk I generally just keep for teaching and for training and for video filming. So two desks, two computers, two kind of setups, but I guess I basically live in this little whatever it is, 2 by 2 meter square or something over here. This is where I spend most of my time. But if we go back to this shot over here, there is another whole end of this room down there with a couple more spaces in it. Now, the yellow chair over here is another space that you've probably seen quite a bit. I've done a few video intros and things from that space over there. But beside it, on this side here, there is another space that has gone through a few changes. There's been a few things there. There was a sofa there at one point, and there have been various other bits and bobs in there. But I think how it's laid out right now is probably how it's going to stay for a little while. And I wanted to create a little kind of effectively a tiny mini stage that I can use for doing things, demonstrating things that would happen on a stage. So demonstrating microphones, DI boxes, even lighting techniques on a stage. And if I cut to this camera, I can run around here and I can appear over there. Hello. And so this is the kind of stage shot. This is the stage looking shot. Obviously it's got another camera in there at the minute, but this is kind of where I would set out things for a stage. So I can use microphones, I can play a guitar, all that sort of stuff. I can have this space here to demonstrate a lot of that type of thing. So I'm probably going to start using this space a bit more for some of my videos as well now. I feel like it's starting to look and feel like I want it to look and feel. So this is another little area over here. Jump back over here. Okay, so that's those main areas over there, but that still isn't all of it, because there is more space behind that wall. And again, on some of the videos you will have seen, there's a slightly wider shot that I sometimes use here, where you can see there's a doorway over there, and behind that wall there is a cupboard space. And if I cut to this camera, I can hide over here. Hello. This is another little space over here, and as you can see, I've got my drum kit set up in here, and at the minute I'm still working in this space. So this space isn't quite as I want it to be, and it's not quite working for me just at the minute. But the plan is that, again, this will be another area where I can do some filming, talk about drum techniques and drum mics and various other exciting things about drum kits, but for the time being it's more of a background thing that just occasionally appears in the background of some of my videos. That's about it at the minute. Right, jump back over here. Bit of a exercise workout this evening, running around all over the place. There is one part of this room that you're never going to see on camera, and that is behind that wall there, just behind that other computer. So like the back end of that cupboard. And there's two reasons for that. One is because that is the junk dump it site. That's just going to be a complete mess in there. But also because this is an office and I do work in here, I do have confidential information about customers and all that kind of stuff. And so anything of that sort of nature gets stored back in that space. So I'm going to make sure that that never goes on camera. And that was something that I always intended to make a part of this video, actually, was to let you know about that, because I feel like there's the potential in the coming years that churches might choose to make a bit of a video studio space, something along these kind of lines. With the growth of online church and people now engaging a lot more in online church, churches might well choose to make some kind of a video studio type space where they can film bits of footage for online church use, or even use it as a live studio where you can broadcast bits of your live service from. And I think it's important to think through from the very beginning how much of it you want to be on show and how much of it you don't want to be on show. Inevitably, in many cases, you're going to want to have at least part of the space not visible, because in a church context, it doesn't make sense to have all the gear on display. Now, it's obviously slightly different for me because I am demonstrating the gear. That is the point of this channel. But you might well be in a position where actually you want to have a bit of equipment in a video studio space, and so that part of the room is going to be a bit that's never going to be on show. The rest of it will all be much more public and much more visible, and it's worth thinking that through, because you're going to want to make sure the visible bits are all visible from a reasonable number of angles, and all those angles need to then not have the bits that you want to hide displayed at the same time, if that makes sense. So you're going to want to just think through, how are you going to lay out this space? Where are you going to position your cameras? What are going to be your camera angles? Where are you going to shoot from? Have you got multiple camera angles that you can use so we can shoot from different angles and get different shots from different spaces that are all going to work and not get the areas in that you don't want to display? So think that through when you come to putting your studio spaces together. So that pretty much is the studio space. It's not a big space, this space. It's about 3 meters by 7-ish meters in total. That's including the cupboard bit at the back. Without the cupboard, it's about 3 by 5 in here, which does just about work. It's definitely the smallest size that you're going to want to go to, really. If you were thinking to do something like this, I wouldn't go any smaller than this. And certainly if you're going to have more than one person in a space like this, I would well consider going slightly bigger. It just about works for me on my own. I could possibly get 2 people in here, but really any more than that, I'm going to start struggling. So yeah, think all those things through. Think about the space, think about the size. Head height, again, is another thing. This, because of the building restrictions and things that I had here, I couldn't make it a very high ceiling, so that can be problematic at times. So think about space, length, width, but also height, and how much space you need and how much space you can have. And with video, the more the better, really, generally speaking. It's always going to look better. You're going to get better depth of field. The deeper things are, the more space there is. I actually shoot this, so my main shot is deliberately set on an angle, so we're shooting corner to corner, so we can get kind of the longest length possible in this space. So that was a deliberate choice that I made fairly early on, to make that as long as I possibly could, to give myself as much depth as I possibly could, so we get the nice blurry background effect going on. All those things are really helpful, and again, it's just worth thinking all that through. So there we are, that is my little studio space. I hope you've enjoyed this little tour and hopefully you found it helpful as well. If you've got any questions, then please do get in touch. I would love to help you with any of that. But that's it for now. So thank you very much and I'll see you in the next video.